Hi, good afternoon. If you want, you can listen to the videos of the gastrointestinal tract because the gut is the first or the second brain because it is very rich in nerve cells and nerve fibers, and 85% of the immune system is in the gut wall, and diseases are always related to the immune system. For example, autoimmune disease, even cancers, thyroiditis, Hashimoto, hyperthyroidism, arthritis, all diseases are related to some elements of leaky gut. So it is very important to start with the gut, and that's why I started with the gut. Now in this book, I'm going to summarize is mind over mood. And this is chapter 10, which is understanding depression. Depression is very common and affects millions of people all over the world, and especially in Europe in the winter time. It is called SAD, seasonal affective disorders. And there is another SAD, which is the American Standard Diet, which is the junk diet, which is additive, salt, sugar, vegetable oils. But SAD, in the case of depression, is seasonal, is according in the seasonal in the winter, because there is no sun and dark, and the days are short and the night are longer. Affective mean it affects the emotions. So now the depression, although emotion generally enrich our lives, but too much emotion can be disruptive. While all the chapters of this book teach general skill for managing moods, the final 3 chapters provide specialized information that can help you reduce the frequency and severity of 5 moods that create distress for people: depression, anxiety, anger, guilt, and shame. You can read only those chapters that describe the moods you would like to understand and change. In Mind Over Mood, you learn about depression through the lives of Ben, Vic, and Marisa. Ben's depression was rather recent and followed important life changes. Vic, in addition to alcoholism, has been struggling for most of his life with low self-esteem and a sense of worthlessness. Marisa's depression symptoms included suicidal attempt, low self-esteem, and feeling of guilt. Depression includes not only sad moods but also numerous cognitive, behavioral, physical, and emotional symptoms. When these symptoms are severe, chronic, or occur repeatedly, they may interfere with our personal relationship or work. It might lead to divorce. It might lead to the supervisor will ask you to leave the job. So the exercise is identifying and assessing symptoms of depression. To help identify the symptoms of depression you are experiencing, read the symptoms listed on the Mind Over Mood Depression Inventory on worksheet 10.1. Fill out the inventory periodically as you use this book. Assess how your depression is changing and which intervention are most worthwhile. Some of the inventory by adding up the numbers you circled for all the items. For example, if you circle 3 for each item, your score would be 57, while 3 by 19 items. If you could not decide between the numbers for an item and encircle both, add only the higher number. Compare your scores once or twice each week to see if your symptoms are decreasing and which symptoms are improving and which are not. To chart change, record your Mind Over Mood Depression Inventory scores on worksheet 10.2 on page 156. Mark each column with the data you completed the depression inventory, then put an X in the column across from your score. This is the chart. And this is what you write, and the numbers and the score. If it is, you put a 3. Or, I will come to it. You may find that your score fluctuates from week to week or don't improve each and every time you fill out the inventory. Some weeks, your score may be higher, between a bracket, more depressed than the week before. This is not unusual, nor is it a bad sign. In fact, it reflects a pattern of recovery. Decreasing the score over time are signs that the changes you are making are contributing to your improvement. At the beginning of healing, even after a fracture, you will see the pain up and down, and then over time, it will decrease. You may have noted that the symptoms on the mind over mood depression inventory are cognitive, behavioral, emotional, and physical changes, just as in the model for understanding a problem described in Chapter 1. Cognitive symptoms of depression include self-criticism, hopelessness, suicidal thought, concentration difficulties, and overall negativity. Behavioral changes associated with depression include withdrawal from other people, not doing as many activities that are enjoyable or pleasurable, and having difficulty getting started with activities. Physical symptoms associated with depression include insomnia, sleeping more or less than usual, being tired, eating less or more, and weight changes. The emotional symptoms that accompany depression include feeling of sadness, irritability, anger, guilt, and nervousness. Does it surprise you to learn that some of these symptoms are characteristic of depression? Some people believe that problems with sleep, appetite, motivation, or anger are separate from and in addition to depression. But for most people, these symptoms are associated with depression, and successful treatment of depression results in improvement in all the associated symptoms. So we come to this chart here. Here the chart. And it is column. I will read it. Worksheet 10.1, which is mind over mood depression inventory. Circle one number for each item that best describe how much you have experienced each symptoms over the last week. For example, this is Arabic word. 19. Sad or depressed mood. On the left side, not at all, 0. Sometimes 1. Frequently 2. Most of the time 3. Always, this is our score. Feeling guilty. 0, 1, 2, 3. Irritable mood, same. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, not at all. 1, sometimes. 2, frequently. 3, most of the time. I repeat it again. So what are these symptoms? Irritable mood, 4, less interest or pleasure in usual activities. 5, withdraw from or avoid people. 6, find it harder than usual to do things. 7, see myself as worthless. 8, trouble concentrating. 9, difficulty making decisions. 10, suicidal thoughts. 11, recurrent thoughts of death. 12, spend time thinking about a suicidal plan. 13, low self-esteem. 14, see the future as hopeless. 15, self-critical thoughts. 16, tiredness or loss of energy. 17, significant weight loss or decrease in appetite. Between brackets, do not include weight loss from a diet plan. 18, change in sleep pattern, difficulty sleeping or sleeping more or less than usual. 19, decrease sexual desire. And then the score or total circled. So then we put the score because we compare it over time. And then there is another chart. This is the chart. And this is worksheet 10.2, mind over depression inventory scores. The score from 57 to 0. Because it is 19 points, by 3 is 57 to 0. And the date. At the bottom, the date. You have to write the date. So now, cognitive aspect of depression. Aaron T. Beck. The Aaron T. Beck is the origin of, he has an institute which is called the Beck Institute, and I'm translating his daughter book, this one, now in Arabic, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and her name, Judith S. Beck. Okay. And they give a certification for therapists. Pioneered our modern understanding of depression in 1960, Beck demonstrated that depression was characterized by thought patterns that actually maintained the depressed mood. For example, Beck noted that when we are depressed, we have negative thoughts about self-criticism, about the world, general negativity, and about our future, hopelessness. So about self, between a bracket, he criticized the self. About the world, general negativity. About the future, hopelessness. So the following section describes these three aspects of depressed thinking in detail. Negative thought about self. Before Marisa began cognitive therapy, she was extremely self-critical. For example, she thought, I must be worthless for all these awful things to have happened to me. I'm no good as a mother or as a person. If I were a good person, I wouldn't have been sexually abused. On some level, I probably deserve to be beaten by my husbands. Both, they used to beat her. The core belief underlying each of these thoughts is, I'm worthless, I'm no good. Almost everyone who is depressed thinks these types of self-critical thoughts. The thoughts are damaging because they contribute to low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and relationship problems, and they can interfere with our willingness to do things to help us feel better. So to demonstrate how self-criticism play a role in your life, remember time when your self-esteem or self-confidence was particularly low. It may have been a time when you felt worthless and unlovable. Picture in your mind the moment you were feeling most depressed, and remember or speculate what you may have been thinking. Did you have any negative thoughts about yourself? This is a question. If so, write them. So you put line empty, so you fill them. These thoughts illustrate the self-critical thoughts associated with depression. Okay. The negative thoughts about the world. Thinking about your current experiences in a negative way is another characteristic of depressive thinking. We often do not take events at face value. We interpret or misinterpret events that occur around us. This is very important, the interpretation of events. The event as itself they are neutral, but how we describe it, how we think about it is the problem. And in this cognitive behavioral therapy, we restructure the thought about the event and about the situation. It is how we perceive it. It is how we describe it. It's how we interpret this event. It is how we repeat it. And it is how we define ourselves with it. Which is a very important point. An example of this is reading between the lines when a friend, relative, or co-worker is talking. When we are depressed, we often perceive others as negative, mean, or critical. Negative thinking about the world is a style of thinking in which we notice and remember negative aspects of our experiences more vividly than positive or a neutral event. Always our mind, when we are depressed, is attracted as a magnet to the negativity, not to the positive or neutral events. For example, when we are depressed, we tend to look and remember the articles in the newspaper that report disasters and wars, and not remember the articles that report positive events. Focusing on the 2 out of 10 chores that did not get done on Saturday would be another example of negative thinking about the world. For example, you have a list of 10. You did 8, 2, you did it. You start to criticize yourself because you did not do 2. I think you should be grateful you did 8. Negative thoughts about the future. During his first therapy session, Ben's hopelessness was revealed in this statement. What is the use? This is the retired one who went to visit his daughter, her husband, and children who are grandchildren. The rest of my life will be filled with illness and death. After his wife's successful battle with cancer and the death of his good friends, Louis, Ben had come to believe that his own life and lives of people he was close to would be one tragedy after another, culminating eventually in his own death. He was unable to envision anything other than a bleak future. When we are depressed, we imagine that the future will be completely negative. This prediction or anticipation that event will turn out negatively is called hopelessness. Example of this type of thinking include, I will blow it, nobody there will like me, I won't be good at it. A negative attitude toward the future may also maintain itself in thoughts like, I will never get out of this depression, Or what is the use in trying? I will never get any better. We may anticipate that a conversation will go poorly, a new relationship won't work out. It's very gloomy. A problem cannot be solved, or that there is no way out of depression. It in most extreme form, hopelessness can contribute to thoughts of suicide. So to demonstrate how negative thinking about the future functions in your life, identify an activity you sometimes enjoy but do not do when you are depressed, because you predict it will not turn out well. Write in the space at the top of the next page the activity you avoid and your negative prediction of how it will turn out. So in this page, you will leave the lines at the top, and then the exercise identifying the cognitive aspect of depression. As worksheet 10.3, list some negative thoughts that people frequently have when they are depressed. To see if you have had these types of negative thoughts and to help you distinguish among them, check each thought you have had and indicate whether each thought is negative toward self, the future, or the world. We always teach self, others, and the world. In this, self, the future, and I remember from translating the world include others. I remember when I translated to Arabic. The identifying cognitive aspect of depression. Then check each thought you have. For example, I'm no good. I'm a failure. Nobody likes me. Things will never get better. I'm a loser. I'm worthless. No one can help me. I have let people down. Others are better than I am. She or he hates me. I messed up again. My life is a disaster. She or he dislikes me. I'm hopeless. Others are disappointed in me. I cannot change. Then on this line, on the right, is the thought negative towards self, future, or the world? The world includes others. Now, following are the answers to the worksheet 10.3. Review the pertinent section of this chapter to clarify any differences between your answers and the one given. So the answers. This is teaching us. I am no good. This is about the self. I'm a failure. Self. Nobody likes me. It is world. It is self. /world. Things will never get better. Future. I'm a loser. Self. I'm worthless. Self. No one can help me. It is world. /future. So the world includes self and others. But the new thing here is the future. So I have let people down. Self. Others are better than I am. World. She or he hates me. World. I messed up again. Self. My life is a disaster. Self. She or he dislikes me. It is the world. I'm hopeless. It is the future. Self. Others are disappointed in me. The world. I cannot change. The self. A treatment for depression. Depression can almost always be helped. All the techniques taught in this book were originally developed to help people overcome depression. This section summarizes the treatment approaches that have been shown to be most effective in reducing depression. Cognitive restructuring, medication, improving interpersonal relationship, and activity scheduling. Although cognitive restructuring may be most important to long-term reduction of depression, a treatment often begins with activity scheduling or do activity, I don't know, the pronunciation is not good, and /or medication. In severe depression, we have to start by activities. Do program, for example, exercise is very helpful in treating depression. Exposure to the sunlight is very important for depression because it will be as effective as antidepressant treatment. But severe cases of depression, we have to start with medication, and then we apply the cognitive restructuring. So cognitive restructuring, depressed people tend to notice and remember negative aspect of their experiences more readily than positive or a neutral aspect. They also are more likely to interpret their lives with a negative bias, while non-depressed people interpret events with a positive bias. The central goal of cognitive therapy for depression is to teach people how to test negative thoughts by reviewing all the information in their lives, positive and neutral, as well as negative. Chapter 4.7 taught you how to evaluate your negative thoughts and learn to think in more adaptive ways to reduce your depression. This process is called cognitive restructuring. Restructuring the thinking. Medication. If you experience intense depression or a long-lasting depression, or if your depression includes physiological symptoms such as disruption in sleep, jitterness, fatigue, or loss of appetite, your therapist is likely to recommend a consultation session with a psychiatrist or another physician who can evaluate whether or not medication might be helpful. Some people worry about the effects of antidepressant medication. Some of the most common concerns are addressed here. How do I know if medication will help? These are: does taking medication mean I'm crazy? Will I become addicted to the medication? Improving interpersonal relationship. Activity scheduling. Okay. So, some treatment for depression emphasize the importance of improving close relationship. If you are in an abusive relationship or a relationship with someone who criticizes you constantly, it can be hard to recover from depression. The environment is very important, and sometimes the environment is toxic. If the partner is negative or criticizing or judgmental or talk behind you or blame you. So the couple therapy or family therapy can help you improve a relationship condition that may be feeding your depression. If you are being physically or sexually abused, almost all communities have special programs nearby to help you. This is in the Western world. In the Arabic world, there is no such thing. On the plus side, improving your relationship can help to provide positive support as you recover from depression. The strategies taught in this book can be used to help you improve relationships that are already pretty good. It is good, but we make it better. If it is bad, we make it better. Another self-help book that uses a cognitive therapy approach for couples problem is Beck's Love is Never Enough. In New York, Harper Collins, 1988. This is a book. Active scheduling. Activities can be connected to the way you feel. If you track feelings of depression, you may discover that when you are depressed, you are more passive and less active. Following the observation that depressed people tend to stop doing pleasurable activities, depression treatments often emphasize increasing the weekly number of pleasurable activities. As a first step toward treating depression, it is often helpful to increase activities, especially pleasurable activities or those that lead to a sense of accomplishment. When we do activities that are enjoyable or activities that accomplish something, we usually feel better. Depression reduces our ability to concentrate, pay attention, and remember. If concentration, attention, and memory are affected so much that it is difficult to learn the cognitive interventions presented in this book. If he is sick, he cannot understand what we are saying. This is very important. Very important. Then it is best to focus exclusively on behavioral changes until concentration, attention, and memory have improved enough to learn the other skill. We need attention, we need memory, we need concentration. By tracking your activities, you can discover how they affect your moods. You will see how your past and current activities are associated with your mood. It is very important that our daily life, it affects our mood and what we do. If we eat well, if we sleep well, if we do exercises, this is very important. Okay. And you probably notice that your depression is reduced by planning future activities, by scheduling and doing activities that are enjoyable or accomplish something. You will be making behavioral changes that can reduce your depression. Doing an enjoyable activities in a week should help you more than doing only 5. If you do 10 enjoyable things, it's help you more than 5. Additionally, doing activities that are highly enjoyable should help you more than doing activities that are mildly enjoyable. According to the degree of enjoyment, different people enjoy different activities. Example of enjoyable activities include talking to a friend, listening to music, playing a computer game, taking a walk, going out for lunch, watching a favorite TV show, or sporting event, or playing with your child. Notice that pleasurable activities need not to be expensive or time consuming. They are everyday enjoyable event, even simple. It doesn't need to spend money. Make a good meal at home, or your partner will do it for you. So let me see. Come on. If you decide to try activity scheduling as a first step, reducing your depression, I should learn from the YouTube or the AI how to pronounce this word. I will learn after this book. It is difficult for me. So do not expect to find the activities as enjoyable or as satisfying as you did before you became depressed. Ben, for example, who had greatly enjoyed golfing before he became depressed, found golfing a diversion during his depression, but not as satisfying as it had been previously. If Ben had compared his golfing pleasure when depressed to his earlier enjoyment of this activity, he might have concluded, this is no good. I'm not having fun like I used to. As a result of these thoughts, Ben might actually have felt more depressed after golfing. However, if Ben had compared his golfing enjoyment to sitting at home depressed, he might have decided, it is all relative. It is good that I went golfing. At least I enjoyed myself a little bit. It was better than sitting at home feeling glum, Glum. You can use weekly activity record to help you identify what you are doing when you feel most depressed, anxious, or angry. In addition to identifying your behavior and moods, the weekly activity schedule, I would say list, can be used as a guide to see what changes in your behavior might help you feel better. So the exercise is the activity record. For first, choose the mood that is troublesome for you or that occurred fairly recently, and write this mood here. There is an empty line, so you write it. Then you put, during this week, you will be rating this mood on a 0 to 100 point scale. So fill in your weekly activity schedule. The more I find difficult, the more it comes. Worksheet 10.4 on pages 168 to 169 for 1 week. For each hour, write in the activity you were doing and rate your mood on a scale from 0 to 100. You may forget to do it for some hours, but more hours you will fill in for the week, the more you will have a chance to learn about the mood you are rating. Therefore, if you forget to do it one day, don't give up. Just continue the rating when you remember. So look at Ben weekly activity schedule in figure 10.1 on page 166, 167. Notice that Ben wrote only a word or two to describe his activity, just enough to remind him what he was doing when he looked back at the record. When he did more than one activity in a time period, he wrote down the 1 or 2 most important behaviors. For example, walk, breakfast, or an overall word, shopping. So this is how it goes. And then the remember weekly activity schedule. Name the mood you will rate. Write down your activities for each hour of the day. For each hour, rate your mood. After filling out an activity schedule for 1 week, Look for connections between what you do and your mood. Okay, then this is the write in each box 1 activity, 2 mood rating for depression. The rating is from 0 to, so this is the chart. See how it is busy? It is busy like busy traffic. But I will read the headings. It's amazing, the chart. It's 2 pages. So on the left, time. From 6 to 7 a.m. every hour until 12 to 1 a.m. each hour. And then as we go to the right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then, for example, Monday, wake up. The rate 60. Tuesday, wake up. The rate 70. Wednesday, wake up 60. Thursday, wake up 50. Friday, wake up 60. Saturday, wake up 40. Sunday, wake up 60. And so on. Then we finish everything. So this is the Ben weekly activity chart. I would say chart is better. I don't like to not to pronounce well. Okay, so worksheet 10.4, tracking activities, weekly activity schedule. Write in each box 1 activity, 2 mood rating from 0 to 100. Mood I am rating. So this is the chart. At the top there is empty line. So you write the mood. Then on the left is the time every hour. Then at the top, each day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. See? Like this, you fill it. Now in this book, the new cognitive behavioral therapy, you can put website and then you print it from the net. Here, because this is very new. It is 2024 and it is the 3rd edition. This one is old and we didn't use the internet and the facilities like now, technology. So we complete the exercises, learning from activity record, and we have many worksheets which we learn from the weekly activity schedule. So what is the thing which we learn? Did my mood change during the week? Question. How? What pattern do I notice? 2. Did my activities affect my mood? Question. How? Question mark. 3. What activities help me feel better? Question mark. Why? Are these activities in my best long-term interest? Question. What other activities could I do that might also make me feel better? Question. 4. What activities help me feel worse? Why? Are these activities in my best interest to do? All question, and we have to answer. 5. Were there certain times of the day, for example, mornings or week, for example, weekends, when I felt worse? 6. Can I think of anything I could do to feel better during these times? When you feel depressed, you ask yourself, can I do something better? For example, listening to music, meditation, or listening to something which relaxes you. Were there certain times of the day or week when I felt better? Looking at my answers to question 3 and 4, what activities can I plan in the coming week to increase the chances that I will feel better this week? Question. Over the next few months. So, your answer to the worksheet 10.5 can help you identify activities you might need to change in order to feel better. So, refer to Ben weekly activity schedule figure 10.1 and see how he answered the question on worksheet 10.5. And so this is how he answered this one. How he answered his worksheet. It's too much. It was 8, the question, and he answered them all. Then, as you can see, you have learned a lot from this from his weekly activity schedule. Depending on the mood you have tracked, you might have learned a variety of things from observing your own emotional shifts. Depressed people often observe that if they become more active, it helps them feel better. Why do you think this might be so? So he leaves lines, so you have to fill it. We don't know for sure why depressed people often feel better after they start doing more things, Here is the list of possible reasons. Some types of activities like exercise increase the brain chemicals that can help us feel better. 2. When we are doing nothing, we are often thinking about negative things over and over again. This is very important, repetition. It's very bad. Always depressed people, negative people, they repeat the same story over and over again. Activity help distract us from negative thoughts. 3 activities can give us the opportunity to succeed. For example, organize rooms or desk. To do something enjoyable, for example, talk with someone we like. Or to solve a problem, begin working on something that has to get done. Each of these experiences, success, joy, solving a problem, can help us feel a little better for a while. When you do work, cleaning the dishes, cleaning a side of the room, cleaning your fridge, it gives you a sense of satisfaction. So activities seem to be particularly helpful to help depression if they involve pleasure or a chance to accomplish something, even something very small. Therefore, just learning to look for pleasure or accomplishment in the things you do may help you feel better. In addition to looking at the effects of activity on your mood, try to see if any other changes in your behavior might help your mood. For example, when I teach on the internet and do YouTube, I feel good. So this is good. Ben and his therapist decided he should get up, get showered, and get dressed each morning, no matter how he felt, no lying in bed. Ben also decided to take a regular morning walk and to ask Sylvie to help him think of activities, Sylvie, his wife, to do on the days he felt most depressed. So he asked for help. So the chapter summary is: depression does not just describe a mood, it also involves changes in our thinking, behavior, and biology. 2. The Mind Over Mood Depression Inventory worksheet can be used to rate depression symptoms. Weekly score on the inventory can be charted on the worksheet 10.2 to know changes in depression as you use this manual. 3. Learning to change how you think is the main focus of cognitive therapy for depression. Change how we think. The secret is how to think. All these books. Then 5. Rating your mood during activities written down on a weekly activity schedule can help you discover the connection between behavior and depression. Worksheet 10.4. Then 6. Analyzing the weekly activity chart can suggest behavioral changes to help you feel better. Worksheet 10.5. 7. Pleasurable activities or activities that allow you to accomplish something help you feel better when you are depressed. Exercise is very important. Exposure to sunlight is very important, especially during sunrise. So this chapter 10 we finish, and then the next chapter will be 11, understanding anxiety, and chapter 12 is feeling guilty and shame. And then the epilogue and conclusions. Thank you and goodbye, and please subscribe to the channel to spread knowledge and information, because it is important to help each other. Thank you.